Okay, hello to everyone out there in internet land and also in radio land. Trying to get the level set here. I hope everybody's hearing me okay. Hey, look where I am today, man. I'm at the Grand Canyon. I'm out in Arizona. How you like that? Want to welcome everyone out there that's joined us tonight. This is the Amateur Radio Roundtable. I'm Tom Medlin, W5KUB. And we got Katie Allen, WY7YL, back with us again tonight from Sundance, Wyoming. And I would like to welcome all of our listeners out there on shortwave station WBCQ up in Monticello, Maine on 5130 kilohertz. I want to say hello to our friends up at the radio station, especially Robert, our program director up there. Hello, Robert. I'm waving at you, Robert. I know he's in the chat room, so if you're listening on shortwave tonight, you can join us on the webcast. If you'll just go to w5kub.com, w5kub.com, and you can join us and watch the video and join us in the chat room. And if you're a ham, tune in on 5130 if you want to see if the shortwave is reaching your area tonight. Shortwave listeners, send us an email. Let us know where you are, and if you're hearing us tonight on WBCQ, you can send that email to tom@w5kub.com, and we'd love to hear from you. I know we get some emails from Costa Rica and even the UK telling us that they're listening to the program some nights. I'd like to ask everyone, please join our Facebook group. At the top of the page, the website, there's a link that says Facebook, Twitter. Click on that, join our Facebook group, and you'll know what's coming on the shows and where we're going to be and what events we're going to have coming up. And it's just a great ham radio hangout place. So tonight, we've got a special guest. Nathan Nixon N7NAN is with us. Wait, but first, before I go to Nathan, stand by. Get you a cup of coffee. I want to bring Katie in here. Katie missed last week, so I gotta get Katie in here for a second. And let me chat with Katie just for a second. Hey, how you doing, Katie?
I'm doing great, Tom. How are you?
Doing good. And I noticed that you're not in your shack tonight. What happened?
Oh, I thought I would try out my computer upstairs here in my office and see if the quality might be a little better. And it's kind of crummy down in the shack. It's still a bit of a mess this field day, and I just thought I would hang out up here tonight instead. Try something new, mix it up a little bit.
Well, it's looking good, and I can't show you the area that I'm in right now because it's really junked up right now. But hey, we have a lot of fun here. Okay, so glad to have you back with us, Katie.
Well, thanks for having me back. I look forward to tonight's show.
All right, so let me introduce our special guest tonight. Let me get him on here. Here we go. Hey, our guest tonight is Nathan Nixon N7NAN, and Nathan is the president of the National Tribal Amateur Radio Association, and it's a nonprofit group. And its primary purpose is to promote amateur radio, I guess, in Indian country. And they mainly promote the STEM education and developing ham radio as emergency network communications for the tribes. Many of these tribes live off the grid. No cell phones, no communications. So you can see how ham radio might play a big role for them. I think before taking on this role, and we'll talk with Nathan about this. He before he took the role as the president of the National Tribal Amateur Radio Association, he was out in law enforcement, and he's still involved in a lot of emergency preparedness and planning. So, how you doing, Nathan? Welcome.
I'm doing good, thank you, and thanks for having me.
Okay, your audio is a little low. I don't know if you can. If you've got a mic where you get a little bit closer.
How about this?
Okay, well, and I can probably do a little bit here on my end to help. So Hey Nathan, wow, it sounds like a neat organization you're getting involved in here. First, let's talk about before this job, you were in law enforcement and out in that area. I guess you supported some of the tribes or reservations during that time.
Yeah, that's correct, Tom. I was a state sworn police officer for 14 years here in Arizona. Um, the last 4 of those, I had the opportunity to work for the Wallapai tribe in northwest Arizona, and ultimately ended up medically retiring from the Wallapai tribe for 4 years, and went to work for the nonprofit that I'm with now, and that's where Antara came from.
Okay, well, I'm having a little trouble. Our audio is going up and down. I think it's in there enough that people are hearing you okay. I'm just trying to shoot for it being perfect here. So okay, so you're out west there, and you grew up, I think, supporting or being around these Indian reservations, and I even, some of my research said your mom even worked with them, I think, during her career.
Yeah, that's correct. So I was born and raised in Arizona, and so I was familiar with the tribes, having been born and raised here. And then my mom was a public health service nurse assigned to Indian Health Services, and actually worked at the Indian Hospital here in Phoenix for about 22 years. And so that's how I really became heavily involved in that, was going to see her at work, and just seeing some of the different shops and whatnot that they had while she was at work.
Well, how do we get started with the story? I think it's a neat story. Tell us about why you created this association.
So back in 2014, after I retired from the Wallapai tribe as a police officer, I came to work for the current organization I work for now, which is the Intertribal Council of Arizona. And we work individually and collectively on behalf of the 22 Native American tribes here in Arizona. And in my current position as the Emergency Preparedness Coordinator and Public Safety Programs Director, I got hooked up with a group out of Washington State called the National Tribal Emergency Management Council. Met their executive director, went to a few of their conferences. They found out I was a ham radio operator, and so we started talking. I found out she was as well, and I told the story, like I always do, that when I was working for the Wallapai tribe, I lived in a community about 45 miles away from there called Kingman, Arizona, and our law enforcement radios that we had were both double encrypted VHF radios, but from my driveway 45 miles away, I couldn't talk to my dispatch in the community that I worked in, running 50 watts of power through the radio in my patrol vehicle. But with a mag mount on top of my patrol vehicle and an HT with about 1 watt, I was able to talk to the community I lived in from 45 miles away in the community that I served in. And so there were areas that my ham radio actually worked better in the community to talk to my dispatcher than our government radios did. So after I told that story, and the executive director from National Tribal Emergency Management Council and I sat down and talked, we realized that there was a need for amateur radio in tribal communities across the United States. You know, there's 567 federally recognized tribes. About 300 plus of those are west of the Mississippi. So a lot of tribal nations, a lot of very remote land. And having served in my position going out and doing training for the 22 tribes here in Arizona, I found out that there's, like you said at the beginning of the show, there's very limited cell phone, if any cell phone communications in some areas, no Wi-Fi access. So the only way to pass a message along is to jump in a vehicle and drive 40, 50 miles to the next business or house that has a phone or that has internet connection so they can pass those messages along. And so out of that, we decided that, you know, it'd be nice to have an amateur radio group specific to tribal communities, and so that's where we developed the National Tribal Amateur Radio Association.
Well, I've got a question for you here. We talked about living off the grid, no cell phones and so forth, no internet. I assume that most of the kids from the reservation, maybe they have their own school on the reservation, or do they go into a city with other kids for school? How's that work?
Well, again, it depends on the tribal nation that you're talking about. Most of the tribal nations here in Arizona, the 22 that we have their own schools. And so the children can go to the school in the community, or if they want to and their parents want to register them in the schools in the next closest community, they can do that too. I've seen it done both ways.
Okay, well, the reason I was asking that question is these kids are going to find out about the invention of the internet, and they're going to come back home to the reservation, and they're not going to have internet. So I know there's a cultural thing there where maybe they don't want internet, but I'm also thinking that there's probably the ones that do want it. So, man, not having the internet, that's a part of all of our lives now.
Oh, it's a huge part of our lives, and I won't say that all tribal communities don't have internet access. Most of them do, but you have to remember that a lot of these places are very, very remote, and there can be hundreds of miles in between the different villages. So there are some villages or pueblos, the different names that they call them, that they may not have it just because of the length of distance from the next closest town where there is internet service. So most of the ones here in Arizona do. I think there's maybe only one or two that don't. But just to give you an example of the remoteness of some of the tribal communities, one of our tribal nations here in Arizona is actually in the base of the Grand Canyon that you're sitting on top of tonight.
Wow.
They're 8 miles down in the Grand Canyon. That's the Havasupai tribe. They've got about 350 registered members, maybe a little less than that. But to get down there, it's either by helicopter or you hike down, or they had service animals, but they've kind of suspended all the use of service animals for right now because of some ongoing litigation stuff. But to give that's one of the best examples that I can give you is all the community members park their cars up on top of the Grand Canyon, and they either hike down or get flown down and flown out.
Wow. So now, Katie, anytime you want to jump in, just jump right in here with us. I'm not going to hog it here, but so hey, the internet. Let me just say the internet. Of course, there's satellite internet now, and sure they can get internet out there. I would guess too that probably these Indian tribes are. Is the word poor? I guess they may not have a lot of income coming in, right? Are they living off the land, or how's that work?
And again, that all varies from community to community. I mean, here in the Phoenix metropolitan area, we have 5 tribal nations that are all pretty much self-sufficient. They all have casinos that generate income. One has a rock and gravel company. One has stuff from Major League Baseball. NASCAR is on the NASCAR track here sits on part of some tribal land. So, again, you look at the tribes here around Metro Phoenix, Metro Tucson area, and they're self-sufficient. You start getting, talking about the tribes where I worked from. We were fortunate enough that the Hualapai tribe had the Grand Canyon Skywalk, which is that glass bottom bridge that I showed you earlier, and I'll show some pictures of that to everybody here in a few minutes. And that's a tourist destination, well-known tourist destination throughout the U.S., and that generates a lot of money for that tribe. But there are some that don't. They don't have anything, and so they strictly rely on funds from the federal government. And yes, there are a lot of people that do farming, that do gardening, do whatever in the community to help bridge that gap, so to speak.
Okay, and so I guess I was going to get to the point too, where I know that this organization you're trying to set up, you're also looking for donations for ham equipment. There are probably areas that are poor that they just don't want to or can't afford that equipment. And I had someone contact us on Facebook wanting to know. I think they said their club had equipment and could they donate equipment. And I think that person's in the chat room tonight. So at least who's going to be in there. So we'll open the phone line up a little later toward the end of this interview, and maybe we'll have some people calling in with some questions or talking about some donations.
Sounds good. And just to answer your question, Tom, yeah, so we when we set up National Tribal Amateur Radio Association, one of the things that we discussed was do we make it a freestanding organization, or since National Tribal Emergency Management Council has such a huge outreach right now to Indian country throughout the U.S., I think they've got a tribal commitment level of about 300 tribal nations that they represent and do emergency management work on behalf of. And so what we decided is that through their board of directors, we would set up National Tribal Amateur Radio Association under the National Tribal Emergency Management Council, because they already had their 501c3, and we were able to add National Tribal Amateur Radio Association right to that 501c3. So to answer your question, yeah, we do take donations. What we do with those donations is we take them in, we make sure that the equipment works. If it doesn't work, we do have people that will fix it for us. And then basically based on need and what sort of infrastructure is in place within those communities, as well as operators, we just put the word out through our Facebook page and to the contacts that I have and say, hey, if you're looking for, whether it's VHF, UHF, HF, whatever it may be, for in your dispatch center, emergency operations center, wherever it may be, let us know and we'll get it sent to them and make sure that they get it set up and have people that can come in and test it for them and help operate if they don't have any operators there.
So, Katie, you're up in Wyoming. You're not too far from Arizona. You got any reservations out there near you?
We have the Wind River Reservation in Wyoming. I think it's in Wyoming, or maybe it's in South Dakota. That's terrible, but it's not terribly close. But I think there's more over in South Dakota. But hearing what what Nathan's talking about is really my first experience learning about the National Tribal, how it all interacts and the separate entities. And one thing I was kind of interested in, since you obviously ended up with enough hams, Nathan, that you were able to create the radio association. Was there just a handful of you to start, and then you started getting people interested, or how did you start it to grow?
It's actually a unique story. So the executive director of the National Tribal Emergency Management Council, when she and I sat down and finally talked, she said, with what we've been doing here in Washington and Oregon and Montana area, she goes, we've developed through our CERT training that we do a lot of ham radio operators. And so she reached out to all of them and said, would you be interested? So we started with about 35 or 40. And we were all emailing back and forth, and everybody said, yeah, this is a great idea. And then somehow through those emails, my name came up to, I guess, take this and run forward with it. So that's how I am where I am now. But the National Tribal Emergency Management Council has 2 conferences a year, and so we were able to put the word out there. One of the big things that they've done at both of those conferences for the past several years is do amateur radio licensing and testing sessions, and it's kind of like a 2.5-day cram session.
Okay.
All 3 license classes. And then we bring in VEs and VE groups to give the test. And so this last conference that they had back in May up in Spokane, Washington, they were able to get, I think they graduated 19 out of that class. And so as part of their graduation packet, so to speak, was an application for National Tribal Amateur Radio Association. And out of the 19, I think we had 17 that joined us. So right now with that and with our outreach efforts through QRZ.com and Twitter and Facebook, we're sitting at about 325, 330 people.
Wow, that's fantastic. I mean, that's only since, you said 2014, right?
Yeah, late 2014. So it was, I think we actually started it September, October of 2014. So coming up on 2 years here in the next few months. And, like I said, I think when I checked today when I was at work, it's about 325, 330 folks that we have on the roster right now.
Do you know how many of them are actually radioactive? Do they have adequate equipment or something so they can at least get on and talk to each other yet?
That I don't know.
Okay.
What I do know is roughly about 18% of the individuals that we have are either work in a tribal community, work for a tribal organization like I work for, or are a tribal member of a federally recognized Native American tribe.
Well, we've got a question. Jill is asking, how many nations are represented right now through the organization?
Through the organization, we have 15 different tribal nations that are part of the association, and that's just through my own research through the membership roster. If I go back and break out actual members, it's probably more around 30 tribal nations right now that we have, because we allow the tribal nations to join as associate members as well as individuals. So actual tribal nations that are members, 15, but when you look at the membership and how many different tribal nations they represent, it's actually 30.
Okay, Nathan, have you got some pictures out there you want to show us?
I do. If
you want to try to put some up, we'll be glad to look at them here.
Let me see what I can do here. Hopefully this works and I don't lose you guys. Oops. Okay. Let's start with this one. So I talked about the Grand Canyon Skywalk.
If you will, click that little. There you go. Perfect.
So this is the Grand Canyon Skywalk that I was talking about earlier. This is actually for the Wallapai tribe in northwest Arizona, where I was a police officer for before I medically retired. And this is a glass bottom bridge that juts out 70 feet over the edge of the west rim of the Grand Canyon. As you can see, this is all glass right here. So you walk on glass on this whole thing, and you can look straight down. And this drop off from the bottom of that glass straight down to the bottom of the Grand Canyon is about 3,800 feet.
Oh wow! Yeah.
So it's a huge drop, but it's a big tourist destination, and a lot of people go there every day just to see that.
That's scary looking.
Yeah, isn't it, John?
So the next picture I had to show was just the National and Northwest Tribal Emergency Management Council logo. I had their picture up, and then of course our logo here for National Tribal Amateur Radio Association. Pretty cool looking logo. We took what the National Tribal Emergency Management Council had here with the medicine wheel and the feathers and their initials, and then just added in the National Tribal Amateur Radio Association up there on the top. And then this is a picture. This is probably one of the most well-known pictures. This is out of Arizona. This is a picture of Monument Valley, which is up in the Navajo Nation, up in northeastern Arizona. And you can see, just as an example, I mean, the expanse areas of land that are just open.
See, they could run a long wire between those two.
That would be
160 meter.
yeah.
There you go. That would be perfect. And so this is one of the pictures also from the Navajo Nation. This is the Navajo generating station up there on their tribal lands. And so you can see, I mean, this is just one village. And so you may have, 300, 400, 500, 600 people that live in this village. And then the next village may be way over here at the base of this mountain that could be 30 to 50 miles apart. And they may or may not be able to communicate. There's some of them that have mesas like this in between the two communities, and you actually have to drive up to the top of the mesa and drive down the other side to get to the next community. And it can be 50, 60, 70, 80 miles away at times. This is another well-known photo. This is actually in the town of Window Rock, again on the Navajo Nation, and I'll let you figure out how they got the name Window Rock by looking at that picture. And then here's another picture of just from a different angle. This is again Monument Valley, like we saw before. This is just looking at it from a different perspective. But again, just wide open. I mean, there's talking to some of the police officers that work out here. There's even limited communications in some of these areas, and so if they're out here by themselves and they get into trouble, they've got to hope that they can get back to their car, that their cell phone works, because their radios may or may not work out here.
Wow.
So Nathan, do you know, do any of them have shortwave radios? I noticed that was brought up in the chat room. That looks like it would be a good place for a shortwave radio.
There's been conversations about that in recent months about putting shortwave radios in. They're trying to figure out a lot of logistical concerns with that and how they're going to do different things. But yeah, it's definitely been discussed, and it's in the works already here in Arizona.
Cool.
So this picture here, I was talking about the Havasupai tribe. that's down in the base of the Grand Canyon. So this is in the base of the Grand Canyon, and this is actually called Havasu Falls. And so this water is this blue. I've actually been down there and seen it. Very, 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 very pretty place to go. You can get permits and go down there and camp and hike and stay overnight. But again, it's 8 miles down. You either go down by helicopter, horseback, or on foot. Mm. So, and then here's just another picture of the from a different angle of the Grand Canyon Skywalk again. So you can see all the people hanging out. At one time when I was a police officer up there, my running joke with the employees up there was that it would be cool to have a bungee jump experience off the bottom of this thing. Wow. that would go down about 2,000 feet and then bring you right back up, but they never did it. So. And then here's just another picture of this is Grand Canyon West where the Skywalk is. So the Skywalk would sit over here. So you can see for those viewers that have been to Grand Canyon National Park where they have railings and walkways everywhere, at Grand Canyon West, because it's a tribal nation, they don't have railings. So you can see these people can walk right up to the edge and look straight down. No railings in place to
I have read or seen on the news recently, there's some people that have fallen over the edge.
Mm-hmm. And interestingly enough, and I know this from having worked out here in this area, is Grand Canyon National Park, for whatever reason, where they do have the railings and the sidewalks in place, has more accidents every year with people going over than they do here at Grand Canyon West, where there's no railings, and it would be easier for people to go over the edge.
Wow.
People relying on the railings maybe, or just assuming they're not going to fall over.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good grief.
Well, if they're like me, if there's a rail, I might get a little closer to the edge.
And then hopefully everybody can see this. I wanted to show some of our social media efforts. So this is our Twitter feed. So it's at National Tribal Ham. You can go there and follow us, and we'll follow you back. And we try and kick things out related to obviously to ham radio within Indian country, but also anything dealing with Indian country. We kick it out and try and let people know what's going on in Indian country. So that's the first one. This is our QRZ page. So NTAR actually has a club call, so it's W7N TV. You can punch that in QRZ.com and it'll bring up this page, and we've got links to Twitter and Facebook, and you can see the Facebook link right here, the Twitter handle right below that. There's a video on there of me. It's about a 5-minute video just explaining who we are, what we're doing. When we put the QRZ page together, we had about 308 members, so we got to go in and update that information. And we are, as the page here says, we are looking to do a HFNet monthly, starting out, and then hopefully bi-weekly after that. But all sorts of information about what we do, and like you said at the beginning of the program, Tom, about the STEM stuff. That's huge to me. John Harrington, who is an astronaut, he's Native American himself. Although he's not a licensed ham radio operator, I use that as an example when I go out into the communities and talk to the students and teachers from tribal communities. I'm like, look, if you have the dream of being an astronaut, you can do that, and through ham radio, that will help propel you to get there. And so word's getting out, and I'm hoping that in the next few years that ARRL and a few will start seeing some teachers from tribal communities showing up at their teacher academies that they do every year. And then the last one that I got is this is our Facebook page. So you can go here. Again, it's just NTARA and then hyphen National Tribal Amateur Radio Association. And we've got a great couple of people that monitor these for me on a daily basis, and I try and jump on there and add stuff to them myself. So yeah, that's what we have there. And the one last thing, this was oops, if it'll come up, the letter that we sent out to everybody from National Tribal Emergency Management Council, just explaining who National Tribal Amateur Radio Association was when we started it, and how they could get involved and go from there. So those are the only pictures I have right now, Tom.
Okay.
Bring you guys.
Well, that's cool. I tell you what we'll do. We'll open a phone line in about 5 or 10 minutes, and we'll see what comments our viewers might have. As I mentioned earlier, we had some people asking about, how to donate equipment, and it looks like that this is something that you guys could use.
Absolutely.
I just saw Bill posted a question that I was just thinking about also, and he was wondering about about offering ham radio classes in the schools for kids or on weekends for adults. Do you guys have that in your plans already, or maybe it already exists?
It already exists. We've got it in place here in Arizona, as well as up in Washington State and the Pacific Northwest areas. I do have groups of instructors as well as VE groups that all I have to do is give them a call and say, hey, this tribal community wants these classes either, during the week, on the weekends, whatever, and I'll get the point of contact information from that tribal community, put them in contact with the person leading the licensing classes, and they'll get everything set up, and then when the class, the weekend before the class is over, the person leading the licensing classes will reach out to the VE group, which they're usually connected to anyways, and the VE group will go and show up there. The other thing that we're exploring now is some of the gear that we've already had donated to us had notes that came with it that said, look, I don't want you to donate this to a tribal community. I want you to sell it and use the money to help pay for the fees for the testing sessions in some of these tribal communities. So I was able to take some of the equipment out to local hamfests here, sell that, and then when the testing sessions come around, I just ask how many people are going to be in there, and I was able to send that money right to the VE group to pay for everybody to take their tests. So they didn't even have to pay for that.
Well,
that's awesome.
That's good. Joe K0NEB in the chat room saying there are tribal radio clubs in Oklahoma at the Greene County Hamfest. So I guess there are a lot more of these tribal groups across the U.S. than I was familiar with. I know you mentioned there's some toward the eastern third of the U.S. We got them out west with you. We got them, I guess, in the mid-central USA. Yeah,
so there's several that I know about. I think there's one in North Carolina or Georgia that I'm aware of. Again, the Cherokee Nation there in Oklahoma. I think there's a couple there, actually. I think there's another one up in the Minnesota area, and then I know of at least one, if not two, up in the Pacific Northwest, and then, of course, National Tribal Amateur Radio Association. And as these groups come to light and I hear about them, I will send out letters to them. I'll look them up on QRZ or through the FCC and get their addresses, and I'll send them a nice letter just saying, hey, we'd love to have you as an associate, organization of our group, and send them the application. It's no charge for them to become an associate member, and they just fill it out, send it back to me, and we add them on the roster and go from there.
All right, I just listed the phone number up there. Let's see if anybody out there wants to call in and give us any comments or questions.
Nathan, what's your email address that people can reach you at?
So the best email to reach me at is Nathan, and it's NATHAN .Nixon NIXON at itcaonline.com.
Perfect, thank you. I just posted that in the chat room.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, go ahead.
I know, I just had a quick question. So the folks that you're getting to become hams, are they all members of the tribes, or are they maybe they work in the tribes or just affiliated? I'm not sure exactly how the logistics of it all work. So
it's as you said, it's a combination.
Okay.
Because we've done the licensing classes primarily at the two annual conferences that we have.
Mm-hmm.
It's individuals who are tribal members themselves. It's individuals who work in emergency management or public safety within the tribal nation, but may not be a tribal member. And some of them don't have any sort of tribal affiliation at all. They came to be a presenter at the conference, or came to be a vendor, and they happened to see the sign and said, hey, I want to do that, and they pop in the class and go from there and see what ham radio is all about. And then when I come in and make my little presentation about Antara and who we are, I've actually gotten a couple of public safety vendors who were there as employees of the public safety vending company, who saw the sign, thought it'd be cool to take the class and the test, so they did, passed it, and said, "Hey, we'd love to become a member." So yeah, it's interesting at times.
That's neat. So yeah, because I was realizing as I'm asking, I'm thinking to myself, oh, maybe a neighboring community, but then my brain quickly went back to that photo, and neighboring communities aren't really a thing out there, are they? Because they're so far spread apart from each other.
Yeah, no, they're not. And like I said, I mean, there's between Phoenix and Tucson, there's several tribes that are co-located next to metropolitan areas or smaller suburbs of metropolitan areas. So yeah, we could get people from those communities, and I'm sure we probably will as we do the testing sessions and move forward.
So, I mean, I'm up here in Wyoming, and people who are watching are all over the country. Is there any reason that any of us couldn't join? I mean, would it help your organization and its growth? Would it hinder it? Does it do us any good to help join?
Absolutely. When we put this thing together, I didn't limit it to, just federally recognized tribal members or employees of federally recognized tribal nations. If people want to learn about, Native American history and culture, this is a great way to do it. The stuff we kick out on our Facebook page and our Twitter feed, we kick out a lot of that stuff. And once we get the nets going, we're going to feature about a 10-minute segment on something dealing with some sort of Native American history or culture at the start of the net, just to kind of educate people on Indian country and what Indian country is all about, and some of the rich heritage. If you've ever looked into it, that there's a rich heritage of culture within many of the Native American communities across the U.S. And one of the things I'll say, Tom, before you go to the phones, I'm not sure about Wyoming or California or any of the other states, but as I mentioned earlier, Arizona has 22 Native American tribes. If you look at a map of Arizona, 90% of the land in Arizona is federally owned land. And out of that 90% of the federally owned land, 29% of that federally owned land is all tribal nation in Arizona. So
wow.
Our tribal communities here in Arizona make up a huge chunk of the state. And we actually have the two largest Native American communities in our state, which is the Navajo Nation and the Tohono O'odham Nation, down on the U.S.-Mexico border in the southern part of Arizona.
All right, well, I opened the phone line. So far, everybody's being kind of shy right now. Nobody's calling in, but all right, guys, you're ham radio operators. You're on a microphone all the time. Pick the phone up. One guy said he didn't have a telephone, so I guess I don't know. Maybe we'll get a call here in a minute, but it's really interesting. It's really opened up a lot of thinking for me since we've talked, Nathan, about this organization. And I think normal people, I guess I'm normal, don't think about these tribes that much. We don't see them. They're kind of off, like you say, off the grid, and it sounds like a very worthwhile cause in what you're doing there. And it'd be great to have them to just have nets where they could talk to tribes, in the east part of the United States, and just all get together.
Well, and with that, Tom, too, I oops.
Woohoo!
Wasn't expecting that.
Oh, it's your phone. I thought it was Tom's.
No, that's mine.
No, it wasn't mine. It wasn't mine.
So anyway, sorry about that.
That's all right.
So one of the things I will mention too, and I wanted to mention at the beginning, but while we're waiting on folks to call in or ask questions in the chat room, is this year the National Tribal Emergency Management Council's annual conference is going to be in Lemoore, California, at the Tachi Nation, and Lemoore is about 50 miles south of Fresno. And what we're doing, besides the ham radio licensing and testing session, is we're actually running a special event station that entire week. So it'll be September 18th through the 23rd, and we're using the call sign N8V, so Nora 8 Victor, for Native. And one of the other things that when we were planning a special event station is our partners at Department of Homeland Security, Office of Emergency Communications, And the FEMA exercise office actually reached out to the executive director for National Tribal Emergency Management Council and said, hey, we'd like to get involved. One of the guys out of FEMA Region 2 up in New York have been talking to the executive director about doing a tribal-specific emergency communications event or exercise. And so we were able to pull that together, and we're actually going to be running that on September 21st during the conference. We're going to have a relay station set up across the U.S., and we're hoping that we can pass messages from tribal community to tribal community all the way from California to New York.
That's cool.
So here's a question in the chat room. I guess they feel more comfortable sending questions in than calling in. Some of the pictures you showed us there, Grand Canyon and the mountains, that would probably make a nice place for a repeater. Are there multiple reservations that all could probably access a repeater on a given mountain?
In Arizona, yeah, because we have several tribes that are located one within the other or one right next to each other. So yeah, they could do that. One of our tribes here in Metro Phoenix, which is the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian Community, sits right on the outskirts of Scottsdale and Mesa, basically right between the two cities. And there's several repeaters right on the outskirts of their reservation that when I've gone out to Salt River to do presentations or provide training to them, I'm talking on my radio the whole way. And I even bring my radio, my HT into class with me, and I turn it off, of course, but I leave it on the table. But yeah, they have great communications there. Some of the more remote tribes, there are peaks that can be used, and that's where we try and have the tribal nation join, or if they have their own amateur radio club, we try and get them to join so that the process goes a little smoother for us if we ever did want to put a repeater up, or if the current club doesn't have a repeater and they want to get one up. Because a lot of that, depending on where on tribal lands you put it, has to get tribal council approval, and they want to see plans for what you're doing.
Okay, let's see. We got a call coming in. Who's on the phone?
This is David.
Hey, David. David, are you a ham?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, where are you located, David?
Indiana. I dropped you a note earlier today about the using a lot of our old vintage gear that guys are having trouble getting rid of.
Okay.
And then basically maybe donate, because I thought maybe sending our gear overseas, because at some point we're just not going to have hams that'll want it.
Yeah, so Nathan, David there, I think, is saying that they've got some older equipment that the club is willing to possibly get rid of. Is that something that you guys are interested in for the association?
Yeah, absolutely. David, if you were able to get into the chat room or hear when Katie put it in the chat room what my email address is, if you want to drop me a line directly, feel free to. I'll give you my telephone number. You can call me. Once that happens, since you said you're in Indiana, the national vice president for NTAR is actually in Virginia. So I'll see who it's closer to have you send it to, whether it's me or him. And then, like I said, we'll get it checked out. And once we get it checked out, make sure it works. Or if it needs to be repaired, we'll repair it. And then, we'll definitely put it to use. Anything you got, we'll make it work.
What I was thinking in terms of was I'm seeing lots of gear at all ham fest, and also the fact that at some point people aren't going to want this stuff, and we're having trouble even selling it now. And why not instead give it to people like you? And same thing with maybe groups of us going out and working on a reservation for a couple of weeks, running classes and other things, getting acting as mentors.
Absolutely. We're always looking for people to help with licensing classes and testing sessions and anything within the tribal communities as they reach out to us. So yeah, absolutely. If like I said, if you're able to get into the chat room and see my email address that Katie put in there, please feel free to drop me a line, and I can send you my phone number, and then we can talk further about that, and I can get you all the information that you need.
Yeah,
Okay.
David brings up a good point there. If ham radio is new to these people, they're going to need someone to come in here and show them how to, build antennas or dipoles or put them up or, operate the equipment. So I assume that you've got some type of support structure that's coming along with this association that Mike can do those things.
Absolutely, and I've got such a good outreach between the National Tribal Emergency Management Council and the organization that I work for here in Arizona, and some of our partner agencies across the U.S. that deal with Native American communities, and just in the membership of NTARA, I've got such a huge group of people that I can reach out to. So if it's if it's a tribal nation that wants ham radio classes and I don't have anybody in that area, through myself, the vice president, person who does all of our outreach, we've been able to find a lot of that information and get them hooked up with clubs or individuals that are close to the reservation that they live on, to not only act as David said, as a mentor, but also to come in and help get those groups involved to do licensing classes, testing sessions, stuff like that.
Okay, David, anything else?
No, I just, like I said, I see guys doing DX expeditions. I've seen churches do missionary trips. I'm just thinking we're going to have to reach out to all sorts of people. And we do have, like I said, every ham fest, I see tons of gear. Maybe there's another option besides just trying to sell it, find a good home. But it may also mean if we're going to have to be sort of like a missionary for our hobby and go out, it'd be an interesting way to do a vacation. You take 5-6 guys from a club and they go out and build antennas and other things and then sit and work with people. And, initially people are going to be a little reluctant, but you get 1 or 2 guys going. And, I remember what it was like when I was a kid. It just took one person to sit there and mentor me. And it's one of those things that, we've got the resources and we want to keep our hobby going. This is the way to do it. It's just another community that we can work with.
And David, I'm glad you brought that up too, because that's one of our long-term goals that we have, is within the next 3 to 5 years, we would actually like to do, possibly 3, maybe 4 times a year, is have different groups go out into some of these tribal communities, like the one I used to work for. They've actually offered to have myself and a few of the individuals here in Arizona who are part of NTARA go up to the Skywalk, and that building that you saw that was attached to it, they were going to let us have the whole top floor of that for field day. I just couldn't get people to go up there and actually set up portable antennas on the top of the building and operate field day right from the Skywalk, and let people walk by it so they can see what we're doing and see where we're talking to. And that's something that conversation kind of spurred. Well, what other famous locations are there in Native American communities that we can get special event stations set up for and go from there.
Yeah, and there's different tribal nations. It's not as prominent here in Indiana, but like you have the group in upstate New York. You've got the various the Navajo Nation, the Sioux peoples, and so forth. Mm-hmm. So various places you go, and each one has slightly different needs. So, but long-term relationships could, let's face it, what our hobby is about is fellowship, friendship, and fraternity, and we've gotten away from that. And we're the first social, network, social medium, like what now they talk about cell phones and stuff, but we were doing that 100 years ago.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, David, thanks for calling in. You should have Nathan's email address, and hopefully the equipment you're talking about might get in some good hands there. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And Nathan, I think what we'll do, we'll probably move on to our next segment in just a minute. It's been an enjoyable discussion with you. I learned a lot, and this show is recorded, so it'll be available tonight for everybody. It stays up forever on our website. So people are going to be watching it tomorrow and the next day. And why did Katie laugh when I said forever? What's going on here?
That's always scary.
As long as as long as YouTube is out there and they don't have a disk crash, it's going to be there forever, I guess. All right. So, Nathan, any closing words you might have there?
I will just say to again, keep for anybody that's interested, like our Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter. The special event station that we have coming up in September. I would sure like to send out a lot of these to people and have them get the first ever special event station QSL card from us. As it gets closer, we'll be putting out the frequencies and stuff that we're going to be working on. We got 500 of those QSL cards made up, and basically the way we're going to do it is the first 500 contacts we make during that week are going to get them.
Hey, and stay in touch with me, and I'm going to try to work it. And if I can record it on this end, we'll run that contact on the show.
There you go. Look forward to it.
All right, Nathan. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
We'll have you on again.
Absolutely.
All right, 73.
Thanks, Nathan.
73. Thank you.
Okay, so I learned a lot tonight.
Well, that was cool.
Yeah, wasn't that cool?
Too.
Yeah, it's kind of different to let me see if I can get a split screen going here. There we go. Oh, that's better. I need to be a little taller.
Right.
I need to be taller. I can fix that. I can fix it.
I can shrink down a little bit.
Let's see. I can make me taller. Hang on. Okay, this ought to do it right here. As soon as I hit the go button. There we go. There. Now that's a little better. Okay. Well, hey, great segment. Enjoyed it. Learned a lot tonight, and hopefully they can get that program kicked off and running really well there, and get some equipment donated to them. Sounds like they're already on the right track.
It sure does. It sounds like right now he's in the process of just building his audience and getting participants and people to join. And I didn't realize, I thought I was already following him on Twitter, but while he was talking, I went and found his Twitter page and clicked follow, and we'll see what, and I think I'm already liking the Facebook pages, but definitely want to look in, and I think it seems like something really worthwhile and interesting, and I'm looking forward to that special event station. So September 18th to the 23rd, we're going to make sure we get one of those nice QSL cards.
I want to work them. I really do.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, I'm looking on your wall back there. Your QS2 magazine. It looks really large. Did you move back near them or something?
No, it's just
they're close to you. Okay.
Well, this is the June QST. This is my photo on the cover.
Oh, let me see that. You're on there.
Well, I'm not, but that's my photo that I took. This is from our field day of 2011.
Okay.
And that's actually my husband down there.
Cool.
Not that one there.
Cool.
I can't. Backwards. There's Dwayne.
Let me go full screen on that. There we go. So you took the picture. Wow. That's pretty cool there. That's
in downtown Sundance, and actually just across the street from that photo is our emergency management office. And at the time, I was still working for our county and did public information for the emergency management office, as well as worked for our fire warden. So we had some access to our county, some county facilities, so it was kind of handy. But yeah, so I made I'm not on the cover, but it's my photo.
Okay, cool.
I was trying to clean up a little bit, so.
Yeah. Well, let me make just a quick announcement again. We've been on about an hour, so we probably had some new people join us. We welcome our shortwave listeners on WBCQ, International Shortwave Radio Station, on 5130. And you can watch us here on the web if you go to w5kub.com. And you'll be able to watch us and see the presentations and even join us in the chat room. Send us an email if you're listening on shortwave. We'd love to hear where you are. I saw someone in Nova Scotia a minute ago was listening to us. send us an email, tom@w5kub.com, tom@w5kub.com. Send us an email. Let us know where you are and how you're hearing things. Want to thank Robert there, the program director there at WBCQ. He's in the chat room tonight. He's there every Tuesday night, and he's taking our audio and making it sound good and plugging it into the transmitter up in Monticello, Maine. So, yeah. I want to say thanks to him and also to Allen WY7YL, the owner of WBCQ. Great guys up there and great supporters of our program here. Hey, let's see a couple things. Hey, Katie, tell me, I know there's been a lot of talk going on about AES and HRO and all that. Probably most people know what's happening now, but tell us kind of what's happening.
Well, as the news is reported, the news went out from AES that they decided to close their business after many decades, and certainly a lot of people are sad to see them go. They had locations around the country and have been around for longer than I've been alive. But when we got word at Ham Radio Outlet, the owner and national sales manager and national operations manager got in touch with AES and said, we'd be interested in talking to your employees and see if there's anybody that we might be able to basically bring into the HRO family. And so basically with their blessing, they took off to the different stores and they interviewed people. I'm actually not sure how many people are coming on, but several people were offered jobs with Ham Radio Outlet, and many are going to be relocated, which HRO will do, and they'll go off to new stores. AES does close at the end of the month. After that, I got a kitty that wants to join me. At the end of the month, basically, HRO will then be dealing with inventory and taking a look at what's there. And
oh, that's not good. Can you hear me, Katie? Can you hear me, Katie? We've lost audio, Katie. We lost your audio. I'm going to call you back, Katie. So stand by. Stand by, Katie.
How about now?
Oh, yeah. You sound good and clean and clear now.
Okay.
Thank you.
That was weird. I wanted to blame it on the cat. She just jumped on my lap.
Yeah. So you're going to pick up some of the AES employees. Now, what about the stores that are closing? I think you're going to keep one of the stores open and open up a new HRO store.
Right. Well, what's happened is that AES is closing, so at the end of the month they are done, and I guess the folks that are in charge took a look at the buildings, and they basically are taking over the space in Milwaukee, and will begin renovations immediately, and will open up at Ham Radio Outlet Milwaukee at the end of August. So, and then we will still continue to have all of our other 13 stores. We're also in the process right now of opening up a new superstore in Portland, Oregon. That is scheduled to open next week. We've moved to a new location, so it's pretty busy with us right now.
Yeah, cool. Well, hey, I just saw someone enter the chat room here, one of your friends, K7JA, Chip Margelli.
Here. And Chip also works with Ham Radio Outlet.
Yeah, he's in there. And I see Mike joined of V3MIC. Hey, let me just say something about Chip. You know, I've known Chip for a while, and people probably don't know Chip, but we have a celebrity on here with Chip in here, K7JA. He may not want me to tell a story, I don't know, but Chip was on the Leno show, Jay Leno show here years ago with another ham, and they had a CW contest. It was CW contest between Chip and his buddy and a couple, I think they were teenagers that were operating text on a phone. And Jay gave them this message, each person the same message, and they had a shootout right there on the Jay Leno show. Who is faster, CW or the text? The kids typing the text.
Well, you know the CW won out.
CW did win. CW did win. So I've got a clip of that video somewhere. We'll have to show it some night. Maybe we'll get Chip on here one night and we'll talk about it. But that was fun to have a ham like Chip on here representing us. And, he could have blew it, They could have just really messed up on that code.
Yeah, they sure could have. But, no, they held strong. And it was a last-minute thing, too. So they really pulled it together. But I know it's been probably, 10 years, Chip, but it's still a great story and so much fun, and hams love it, and certainly whenever they see Chip out at a show. And he's a great speaker. He does a lot of conventions, and actually is coming to our division in a couple of weeks. We'll be meeting up down in Albuquerque for the Duke City Ham Fest, and he's our banquet speaker. He's done a lot of talks on field day. He's quite the field day. He's, I think, if as passionate, if not more passionate than my husband is on field day, and has actually been out here in Wyoming for a couple of field days, and considered Chip to be one of my best friends. So it's nice to, I think it'd be fun to get him on here. So, you now.
I usually run into Chip up at Dayton or maybe down at Huntsville. I don't know if Chip can tell us if he's going to be in Huntsville. By the way, Katie, you're going to be in Huntsville this year.
I don't believe I am. No, I don't have any plans for Huntsville, unfortunately.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe Chip will be there. Hey, do you remember what the message was that they had to send on CW? Do you remember?
I think it was something about I saved a bunch of money on my car insurance.
Yeah, I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance, I think. That was pretty cool. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Glad to have you in here, Chip. Glad you joined us. Hey, let me show somebody. Let me just put this out there. Hey guys, what do you think about this tie? I'm thinking about this is the ties that we need to start wearing on the show right here. I don't know if I can put parts on them or not, but that's a pretty cool looking tie, isn't it?
Are those for sale?
I think they are. The picture that came up on my Twitter or something, I don't think it had a link, so we're gonna have to research this and see where we can find those, but that would be an interesting tie for sure.
Oh yeah, I think Dwayne would wear one of those. That'd be great.
Yeah. Hey, I'm always asking for people to send in their shack pictures, and sometimes we'll get a few, and sometimes we don't. But I've got a shack picture that came in this week, and here's a picture. This is from Jackie Green Jr. N4MJG. Out of Tullahoma, Tennessee. I'm not sure where Tullahoma, Tennessee is. Do you know, Kathy, where Tullahoma is? Between Jackson and Nashville. Okay. All right. Well, I'm not that familiar with it, but cool. So this is Jackie's station. Looks neat. I like the lighting he's got there.
Oh, that is nice.
Yeah. He's got him a mixer back there. Looks like a Behringer mixer. That's probably a little 8-channel Behringer mixer.
Yep.
And let's see, he's got him a key there for his keyer, an antenna tuner.
I've got one of those Yaesu mouse pads, that round one.
Oh, yeah, Yaesu mouse pad. Okay, yeah.
It looks like maybe a Venture keyer back there.
Looks like it. Yep. So it's pretty cool. So if anybody has Walter says it's in Eastern Tennessee, so I guess anything east of Nashville would be considered east. That's the way I'll divide the state through Nashville. Thank you, Walter. So yeah, cool looking shack there. I was looking what's on that little center post. I can't make it out. There's a couple little boxes there. I don't know what they are.
I can't tell either.
Maybe Jackie can tell us. I think he's in the chat room tonight. But anyway, that's a picture from Jackie over in Tullahoma, Tennessee. Thanks for sending that in.
Yeah, someone just said you would want to see my shack right now, and Andy said that. That's how I feel about mine too.
Well, mine too, and of course we've got our studio set up in here right in the middle of the shack, and it keeps me from doing some of the ham stuff I want to do. But We're still having fun,
Yep.
Oh, we got Doc in here. Don says it's south of Nashville on I-24. See, we got people watching the show that live over there real close. Okay. Hey, guys, the phone line is still open. If anybody wants to call in and say hello to me or hello to Katie, just give us a call, 901-286-1116. And just in a few minutes, we will go over to our informal parlor show where we have hangout. We sit around a coffee table and we all talk about whatever we want to. And
I was going to tell you about my talking about having fun in the shack. This past weekend I went to Connecticut with Dwayne. He's on the ARRL board of directors, so they had their meeting this weekend. So of course they're in a meeting, and I got to go have some fun and went down to W1AW and operated 20 meters for a while. I'm not even sure how long I was on, maybe about an hour and a half or so, but I also streamed it live on Facebook. So it was kind of fun trying to keep up with everything. A few people said, hey, good job at the multitasking, but created quite the pile up, which happens when W1AW's call goes out there. But I tell you what, if you ever get a chance to go to Connecticut and operate from there, it's quite an experience. And I was operating on I think it was an ICOM 7700. And I'm not even sure about the antenna. Someone asked me. I said, I don't know. There's pictures. Take a look at what's out there.
Yeah.
It's such an amazing facility. But, that's where I first cut my teeth on ham radio was at W1AW as a GOTA station for Field Day back in 2006. And Studio 2. And Dan N1ND was my GOTA coach. And then the following month, went back and participated in the IARU HF championship. And that's really where I think I got the contesting bug and operating with all the DX. And it was just so much fun. And so it always brings back good memories to go play radio at W1AW.
Yeah, I've worked them several times. I've never been up there to visit W1AW.
Hey, maybe there's a road trip. Get the W5 KUB van and go north.
Yeah, just go north. Huh? That's a long ways up there. But we'll get up there one day and try it out. My mic might have got turned down just a little. Okay. All right. Well, hey, I see Delta in here. Let me just say something about Delta. Delta is the owner of Digital Addiction. They are the ones providing us the chat room, the network for the chat room. So I want to say hello to Delta out there. Thank him for the chat room and all the help that Delta's been giving us, and really appreciate that. Delta's a ham also. I don't have his call in front of me, but I've actually worked Delta on the air before. And just thank Delta for that. The chat room, guys, use the chat room day or night. Use it during the week. You don't have to wait till Tuesday night to use it. Get on there, talk about ham radio, talk about computers, talk about shortwave, whatever you want to do. Kathy has posted the link for Hangout, and the link there in the chat room will connect you to the show. If you've got a camera and a mic, you can come right on the show with us. We can have up to 10 people. And it gets pretty interesting. We got Doc gets in there. Doc's WA4YYM. I think I got his call right. He's over in Tennessee. And all of us old guys, we always have our list of medical questions ready for Doc when he comes on here. So anyway, we talk about everything. Join us tonight on our informal hangout part. So I guess we'll go ahead and do that right now, Katie. And thanks for joining us tonight, Katie.
You're welcome.
And we'll see you, I hope, next Tuesday. Let me just say, next Tuesday, we're going to have Emmett Hohensee, W0QH. He's the chief engineer of radio waves. I think we're going to be talking about hex beams and the construction of them and the operation and all those kind of things about the hex beams. And if you watched the show week before last, I put a hex beam up we put a tower in a hex beam up right in the middle of all the heat. It was fun, but it was hot.
Yeah, I bet. Well, look forward to it. And thanks again for having me this week. It was a lot of fun. And thanks for joining in, everybody. I'll say 783 for now.
All right. 73, Katie, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right. So, as you can see, we're in our studio out in Arizona tonight. And we try to go where the show is, folks. You know, that's what makes our show different. We try to go where everybody else where the show is, and you know, be local like it. Hope you enjoyed the show tonight about the National Tribal Amateur Radio Association and our discussion with Nathan. All right, so Kathy has put the link out there. I'm gonna go ahead and bring Hang Up up. Yeah, I guess Hangout up. That's what I meant to say. Let me get over here and let's just see who's out there tonight. It's going to join us on our show. Take me just a second to get in there. Well, this is not looking good. I don't think anybody's gonna hang out tonight. So we'll give it a minute or two and see if anybody joins us. I'm the only person in Hangout. Hey, the phone line is open. If you don't have Hangout and you want to just call in and say hello or give us a thought about a future show or anything, give us a call. 901-286-1116. 901-286-1116. So, there's Doc. I knew Doc would be in here. Doc just joined us on, there he is. Let me get Doc in here. There we go. Let's see. There we go. We got Doc in here.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Doc. How you doing tonight, man?
Just right.
Okay, well, that's good. All right. Well, it's been hot over here. How about over in the eastern part of the state?
I'll tell you what. I got out and mowed a little bit this afternoon, and it was brutal.
You have a riding or a push?
Both.
Yeah. Well, I've got a riding. I need to get out. I've let mine go about 3 weeks. I got to do it, but they're telling me the chill factor, the wind, the heat index is going to be 111 here, I think by Thursday.
Yeah.
111, and humidity is probably going to be what, 90% probably.
Yeah. Yep. It's supposed to be really hot this weekend.
Okay. Well, Doc, let me report, man. I went to my doctor today for my 6-month checkup. You know, I see him twice a year, and he said I'll probably make it to the next 6 months.
That's good.
I think by Thursday. 111 and okay, let's see. Somebody came on and they got their speaker on. Let's see who that is.
Mike.
Is it Mike doing it? Mike, mute your. It's not Mike. No.
Mike says no.
All right. I don't have names over people. Who's the guy with the little? Is that Jerry? Who's the guy who's got the little green thing turning?
Yeah, I just heard it.
Is that Jerry? Okay, you're muted. Let's see. All right. There's one more person on. Let's see who that might be.
Whoever that is just muted themselves.
Yeah, I think they did. Okay. Well, we're Joe K0NEB. Joe said the heat index is going to be 112.
Tom B3MIC.
Oh, hey, Mike, how you doing? V3MIC. Mike, is that Mike? Well, I heard.
Got your icon, but no video.
Yeah, I heard. I think I heard Mike. I heard VE3MIC, but that's all. Yeah, Joe says 112 there out in, he's up in, where's Joe? Nebraska. I wonder if they got the humidity we got down here. I doubt it.
Well, along that river there, it's brutal.
Yep. Yeah. So, Mike, VE there, is it Mike? VE3MIC, you there? Well, I guess not. Who, Jerry, is that you in there? Jerry?
I see Jerry.
I got to get the names back over everybody's picture. I can't, it's hard for me to tell who's on here. Let me try to adjust the picture a little here. There we go. All right. Oh, Joe says very humid due to corn. Does corn put out humidity? I don't know. Jackie, he says about 100 there, maybe a little less. He's over I think he's over in Tullahoma. Let's see. All right. Well, Andy tried, but he said he can't get the webcam working on a Linux box. All right. Phone number is 901-286-1116. If you got a phone and you want to give us a call, we can add you on here. So let's see.
So did you get blood work too, or did
they do it twice a year. Yeah.
And you're gonna live.
Well, yeah. Of course, he ain't got the results back yet, but he thinks I'll probably make it.
Till the next visit.
Yeah. Yeah, till the next visit at least, you know. That's kind of like it. Airplane engine going out, it's going to take you all the way to the crash scene, right?
That's right. What's up, Jerry?
Nothing much. I'm just here, man.
All right, Jerry. Where you been? Did you watch the show tonight, Jerry?
No, Tom. I just came in. Actually, caught the last of it just as the young lady was going off. Actually.
Oh man, I'm going to give you some more demerits. You're going to have to start. You're going to have to start waking up, get out of bed, turn the computer on a little early, let it warm up.
Actually, I'm pretty lucky to be on tonight.
Are you?
Yep.
Well, I figured we were also competing against the Republican convention. That probably took some of our viewers tonight. Sound like somebody's unhappy.
Give me a minute, guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute you, Jerry. Let's see if I can I mute Jerry? Let's see. You know, I don't think I can mute anybody anymore. They changed the version on me. I don't have that option. Oh well.
How's Mike in Michigan?
Sorry, fellas, I had technical difficulties. I think I'm back.
Who's that? Is that Mike? No.
I can hear you, Mike.
Who's that had technical difficulties?
MIC.
MIC.
Yeah, it's Mike.
Yeah, hey Mike. Okay. All right. Well, good. Of course, you don't have a camera on. We can see that, and you're breathing heavy right now. It sounds like your mic is attached to your nose.
You've never heard of a nose
mic?
That was a nose mic.
That must be somebody else.
Or maybe
I'm
maybe it
listening
is.
to it as I'm just sitting here.
Oh, are you? Yeah, I don't. Let me try to see if I can tell who that is. Let me watch. Now that's coming from the guy's got the little green thing turning. Who is that, Doc?
No, I think it's the noise coming. Whoever's in the kitchen there, because it keeps flipping the camera to the active person, and I keep seeing the person in the kitchen.
Well, Mike, I'm looking at your icon, and whenever I hear the breathing, I see the little 3 green lights come up on you. Now I'm not seeing it. All right, we need to mute. Let's see if I can mute Jerry. All right, guys, I'm going to go to the old version. Hey, Jerry.
Hello.
Yeah. Hey, mute your mic. You got a whole lot of noise coming out of there. Now it's getting quiet.
Then it tell me because my mic is not yet muted.
Oh, no, the noise went away, but I almost guarantee you it was coming from there.
It was the harmonics.
Yeah, it was the kids. They got real quiet. I think they got their food. I bet they're eating right now, aren't they? Now, you're not talking now, Jerry. You're muted now. Jerry is muted. I can't hear Jerry. All right.
Okay, how about now? You guys hearing me, right?
Yeah, now we are. Yeah.
Any more noise?
No, I don't hear any noise now.
Okay, because what is happening with me is that I have an external camera, one that I plug into my laptop, but my laptop also has a microphone on it, and the camera has a microphone, so you might be getting a feedback or some kind of something.
Okay.
So I'm trying to close down one right now as we talk.
Well, it sounded like the kids were getting real anxious to eat. It quieted down a whole lot once they got that food in them.
Whatever, bro. So what you guys?
URM.
What you guys been up to for the past couple of weeks? I have not been on.
Well, let's see. What do we do? 2 weeks ago, we put up a tower and a hex beam.
Okay.
And then last week.
That was last week.
Was that last week? No, it wasn't. No, last week. Last week we did the guy that wrote the book.
Which book?
The book about contesting.
The book on what?
Contesting. Sport contest. Or was that the week before?
Backwards.
Did I get it backwards? Okay. All right. Well, we did that contest sport. We did that. We did hex beam, tower installation. Tonight we talked about the National Tribal Amateur Radio Association. All the Indian reservations we're trying to organize and get ham radio going out there.
Oh, okay.
Next week, we're going to have Emmett Hohensee, W0QF, with us. He's the chief engineer of Radio Waves. He's going to be talking about hex beams.
Okay, well, lucky you guys. While you guys are enjoying that, I'm out working. Actually, the reason I'm not here on Tuesday nights is because I got a job that works at night.
Okay, you had to work. We'll give you an excused absence. But you have to watch the show on recorded tomorrow. So instead of sleeping, you need to pick an hour and a half, watch the show tomorrow.
Yeah, I've got time to do that, Tom.
I'm going to say goodnight to Jackie N4MJG.
Yeah, I'm going to leave you guys too, actually. I need to get some stuff done. I got a laptop I need to go on reimage, so let me go get through that.
Okay. All right, Jerry. Thanks. We'll see you.
Good to see you guys, man.
Okay.
Have a good night now.
All right. All right. Got a lot quieter. Okay. Let's see. Yeah,
That's
Jack.
Mike in Michigan.
The what?
Mike in Michigan. I can't hear you, Mike.
Yeah, Mike, your mic is not on. Must not be plugged in. All right, you're just moving your lips, Mike. Mike, look at me. Look at me, Mike. Look at me, Mike. Here's what you're doing, Mike. That's what you were doing, Mike. All right. All right, Mike. I've got it. I'm going to put the old version back in. If I lose you guys, I'll join you in a minute. Let's see, original version. Hangout. Google keeps changing my. Okay, here we go. All right, Google keeps changing my version of Hangout. Oh. Google keeps changing my version of Hangout. Now I got the old version. Now I have names over everybody. There's Bill. There's Don. There's Mike. There's the other Mike. So I can see people now.
Hello.
Hey, Mike.
Can you hear me, Tom?
I can. And I can even mute people now. I don't know why they keep changing me and upgrading me. So yeah, Mike. Let's see. We got two mics. Mike in Michigan. No audio. Yeah. Mike in Michigan. Hello. He's gone. That wasn't.
Yeah, I held up a sign there that said no audio, Mike. I don't know if you can read it or not.
All right. Now we just have one mic up in Canada. Yeah, we're hearing you, Mike. How you doing up in Canada, man? What's the weather like up there?
Sorry, Tom. Can you hear me now?
I do. I hear you. But your mic is muted again.
Okay. Am I back in there yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. The other mic. Mike in Michigan. You're in here. Okay.
You're still not hearing me.
No, we're hearing you now.
Oh, okay.
All right. Look, we got to get some order here. Mike in Michigan. You're mic number one.
All right.
You're number one. And Mike in Canada. You're mic two.
Roger.
Right.
Roger that.
All right. Hey, Bill up there. Bill, where you at? Bill, where are you?
I'm in Massachusetts.
Yeah, Massachusetts. I thought so. You're gonna be mic number 3 tonight, okay?
Holy wow, there's 3 of them.
My mic 3.
All right, you're mic 3 tonight.
Oh God.
So Tom, does that conclude our mic check?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Oh man, what a day.
What a day for you. Look at Doc. I got
hey, yeah, you were gonna tell us that you were gonna have that.
You got attacked.
Yeah. Yeah, they took the knife to my skull this morning.
Well, let me fix this picture here.
Did you get pithed?
Oh my. They must have made a 2-inch. Besides the hole, they went back the second time and they took a slice out of there. So I'm gonna have this pressure patch on tomorrow night.
Who's that? That's coming from Mike 3.
Yeah.
So Mike 3 didn't say a word.
Well.
Hopefully they got it all out of here.
Mike in Michigan, yeah, I had one of those back in December, I guess. So yeah, I know what you're going through.
Yeah. So yeah, it was feeling okay in the morning, but I'll tell you this afternoon when that shot wore off. Then I was feeling it.
All right, I want to say hello to VU3 BGI up. Let's see. Hi, they're from India. Man, our signal's getting into India tonight.
Oh, I see that. VU3.
Yeah.
BGI.
Yeah, it's early in the morning there, so they're getting up and they're tuning in the show. All right, let me see where that noise is coming from. That's coming from mic number 3.
Oh, really?
Mic number 3. You're number 2.
The audio thing keyed up there, yeah.
Yeah, Mike, you're number 1. It's coming from mic number 3 up in Massachusetts. Mic 3.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
A little bit more. A little bit more.
Is that better?
Yep, that's better.
Yeah.
Had to turn off the air conditioner.
Really? Boy, that thing's squeaking a lot.
Really?
I would have never guessed that was the air conditioner.
I wouldn't either. I heard all kinds of audio stuff just all mixing here. Now, let's see, VU3BGI, is that Jolty? Jolty, is that you? I'm trying to place a call with the name here. Jolty in India? Have I got that right? So, anybody here going down to Huntsville next month?
I am.
All right, I'll see you there, Doc. Do you normally make it down there?
Yep.
Okay, I guess
I've been down there the last 3 or 4 years.
You going to broadcast again?
Yeah, we'll webcast from there.
What weekend is that?
It's I think it's the 3rd weekend. It's somewhere around August 20th.
Okay. I watched it last year. I just couldn't remember when.
Already got a lot of prizes. We got about 20, 22, 23 prizes already in the bag for the show.
Yeah, it's on the 20th and 21st. I'll probably be down there Saturday.
We'll go down Friday, the 19th, and go in there and set up, and then we'll probably spend Sunday night there and drive home Monday. That way, don't have to rush out of there.
I've never gone down and spent the night. I usually just drive down for the day and then drive back. It's about a 3-hour drive from here, but that's not a bad drive. We just go down to the foot of Mont Eagle Mountain and then head south down 72, and it's a good road. It's almost like an interstate all the way.
Oh yeah. Is that is that through Nashville down, or is that a different road?
No, it's go through Chattanooga.
Okay.
And then, like you're going on I-24, except you turn off on 72.
Yeah.
Which is probably the best way to get to Memphis from here too. Actually, it's a good road.
Yeah, I've driven from the Nashville down to Huntsville that way.
Yeah.
I guess that's the interstate.
You got to try going 72 sometimes. It goes right up through Collierville there.
Well, no, I normally that's the way I do go. I just happened to be in Nashville the night before, so we went down that way. Yeah, at 72, it's a nice 4-lane road nearly all the way.
Yeah, that's good.
I see Jill KD8 QGA in the chat room. I think Jill's probably going to be there. Yeah, she said she'll be there on Wednesday. She's coming early.
Well, Huntsville's a good ham fest. It's one of the larger ham fests that I go to besides Dayton. So it's got a lot of dealers and a lot of vendors and a big flea market.
Yep.
And it's a nice facility to have it in too.
Speaking of facilities, Tom, do you think they're going to find another place other than the Hera for the ham convention next year?
Well, that rumor, of course, that talk's been going on for years, and they were trying to squash it this year. But I saw something recently that didn't look too good. I don't remember what it was.
Hera keeps saying they're going to hold it there. They're not moving.
Yeah, but I saw something. I think Jill sent me something. It was a link. Something major is happening there at Hera, and in my mind, it could affect it. So I don't know. I don't remember what it was.
Hey, Doc, you must be back in your own car tonight. You're not your wife's.
Yeah. She got back in town, so I've taken over my car again. I'm only lit from one side, except for my cigar.
Yeah, Jill said she sent me an email about the hair deal. I read the email, Jill, but I forgot what it was. But I think I'll probably still be there again next year. I think so. There's really never been anything the last 3, 4, 5, 6 years that really made me think that they wasn't going to have it. Although something came up that seemed pretty serious.
I can't imagine going anywhere but there.
Yeah.
The arena is getting a little tough, though. I don't know, especially the flea market area. I couldn't believe it, kicking pieces of asphalt around this year, especially when they said they were going to make some improvements from the year before. But I didn't see that they had done anything this year at all.
I think their maintenance budget must be pretty low.
Well,
you said they're not going to have a hockey team playing at that anymore this year.
But I think maybe that's what it was. The hockey's not going to play there anymore, so
Yeah.
I feel like that might be a big part of it.
Well, I see Huntsville's got a hockey team because our university here plays Huntsville in hockey.
Yeah.
If they didn't hold it at the Harrow, where would they hold it? That's the real question.
Well, it's hard to say.
Yeah, they're talking they have to move probably to another city.
Years ago, that golf course back there, years ago, I've been going for 35 years now. You used to park out there on that grass back there before that parking lot. Before that golf course was built. I don't know. A lot of people saying they're not going to go back anymore because the facility's bad, but I go there and what we do, I don't even look at the facility. It doesn't bother me. I can remember, back in the olden days, we used to have our ham fest outside, man. All of it. And when it rained or sleeted on you, just wash your equipment away. At least, Harry, you got a little bit of roof.
Well, it was cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
it was
the
cold
biggest
enough this year. I thought it was maybe going to snow when we were there this year.
Well, hey, it used to be in April instead of May,
really?
And man, that was bad then. I can remember some very, very cold and snow times, and
we're always still shoveling snow in April.
Yeah, it helped a little bit to move it to May, but it can still be pretty cold out there in May.
Yeah, you never know. It's a crapshoot.
Well, that's one of the reasons we wanted to move inside. With all the equipment and stuff we do, and it's worked out really a lot better for us.
Well, the biggest complaint I think people had were the bathrooms, and I think they did a pretty good job with them this year. They had, attendants there and kept everything clean and kept all the facilities up and running. So I think they did better this year.
Well, I don't know why the bathrooms are always at full. These hams are going to have to learn how to hold it.
They're going to have to quit selling beer there, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hit a few of the beer stops along the way when I was down there too. Inside, outside.
Well, it used to be even more convenient outside. They used to have the what do you call it? The outhouse, the Johnny on the spot, wherever they are.
Porta potty.
Porta potty. They used to have them inside the fence, and I remember one year right there next to the hot dog stand there at the back door. One of them turned over right next to it, man. It was pretty bad out there.
Oh no!
I think that's the last year they let them have porta potties inside the fence.
Yeah, I missed the year that they had all the backups and the overflows and stuff. That's the only year I've missed, I guess, in the last 10 or 15 years.
Yeah, we were outside that year. It didn't get to us, but that's when the sewer. It didn't really explode. It didn't explode, but there was an eruption there right under people's flea market spots, and they had to come out there and squeegee it down. That upset some people, that their flea market spaces were on top of that.
I don't go for the facility. I go to see people, and group of us that always go up, and it's just kind of a weekend out, for a bunch of guys. And I have as much fun driving to and from the thing as I do while I'm there. And we always go out and go to Uno Chicago downtown and get some pizza and drink a few beers, and we have a big time.
Well, we could just get the guys together and all go out in the woods somewhere and camp out and dig a hole for the latrine, have fun. But I don't know. You just got to look around. Some of the bathrooms are cleaner than others. Find you a nice clean one.
Yeah, I didn't find the washroom facilities that bad. It was the outside flea market area with all the broken asphalt that I couldn't believe they didn't kind of make an effort to sweep that up so that people weren't tripping all over it.
I don't think it'll sweep, man. That's part of the pavement, man. But I know what you're talking about, and for years, when we would be outside, it always, our paperwork would always say, we're going to be charged $50 for every hole we put in the asphalt out there. Well, we didn't have to put any hole in there. We just drive our stake in between the cracks.
Find your crack and go with it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm about to run out of battery here on my iPad, so I guess I better sign out before I drop out.
Okay. Well,
7-3, Doc.
Good night,
Okay.
Doc.
We'll see you, Doc.
73, guys. See you next time.
73, Doc.
Well, hey, Mike 3. You hadn't said much tonight, Mike 3. What's going on?
Well, I try not to overrun the conversation there, Tom. You know that.
All right. We'll revert back. We're gonna revert back. You can be Bill now.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I'll tell you, I got quite a few the field day footage there that you did for us, and they said that they thought it was a pretty good thing to show the members at the annual meeting in September. So,
well, I hope it was good enough that they can use it. Yeah, I hope it was good enough that they found it useful and can use it.
Oh yeah, they were really impressed. I mean, some of them said, "Gee, you didn't have to." I said, "Oh, I gave him the whole shebang."
Yeah, good.
And I said, "I wish you people had stuck around." I mean, when he finally called, I says there was only like one kid downstairs and 5 people up. That was it. I says, and it was like 8:30 at night. As I told you, as soon as the food was gone and the people were gone, and that was it.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, man. Now, Mike number 1, you're up in Michigan.
Come on.
Right, Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you near Traverse? Are you near Traverse City? Is that in Michigan?
That is, but that's below the bridge.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well, you should. We had them on the show for field day. You should have went over there, man. They had filet mignon and lobsters. That's what they were cooking. It's making me hungry right now.
4-hour drive for me to get over there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We're on the north side of the bridge.
Yeah.
So you're up there by what is it, Marquette and all that other stuff then, right?
I am in Marquette. Yeah.
Oh, you are in Marquette?
Yeah,
I am. Okay. Yeah, I think I was there, oh God, when was it? It was before I went in the military.
That was last century.
67, 68, I think it was. K.I. Sawyer Air Force Base, or at least that's where my brother was stationed.
Yep, that was the base. That was closed 15 years ago. It's now the airport there at K.I. Sawyer.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember that long bridge, though.
Oh, yeah, it's 5 miles. Tom has to cross that bridge. 5-mile bridge, longest suspension bridge.
Wow.
50-some feet up.
Wow. Yeah, you don't want to be crossing that bridge in bad weather.
Does it ice up?
No, they drive across all winter. You just take your time. You just gets a little windy. They shut it down down sometimes when it gets too windy.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, that bridge it's a suspension.
Is it a toll bridge there, Mike?
What was that?
Is it a toll bridge?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's $4, $5. Last time I went over this last fall. It was the last time I went over. Yeah.
Well, I tell you, you guys up here in the north, I remember when I was real young, we took a vacation, went up, I think we saw my aunt and uncle up in New Jersey, and we drove across we were above the Mason-Dixon line. And I remember, man, you had to put money in to use the toilet. Yeah, you know, that's the first time I ever seen that. You had to put money in to use the toilet up there.
He crossed the north of the Mason-Dixon line.
That's
Holy
right.
Wow.
That's right, man. So you got toll roads and toll potties and toll bridges.
You go to New York City, they have automats there where you walk in, you have to put a quarter or something in there for a cup of coffee.
All right, we got Jill on here. She says her stepdad was a diver for the bridge when they were building it.
Yeah, that's quite the bridge.
5.2 miles long.
Yeah, Hugo did go off once. Yeah.
Has a live cam, especially for bad winter.
I love driving across it. There's some people that won't drive across it. They're so terrified. They actually have drivers that you can pay and will drive your vehicle across for you.
Is that right? Doug here says a Yugo blew off of it once.
Yep.
Wow. So people actually drive your car across for you?
Oh, yeah, there's some people are terrified of the bridge. Yeah. I love it. Yeah, that bridge will sway 20 feet in each direction in the middle in a good windy day. But it's 5 miles long, so you don't notice 20 feet one or the other.
Now we've got Kurt on here, WA2JSG. He says he lives about 300 yards south of the Mason-Dixon line. I didn't think the Mason-Dixon line went up to New Jersey, did it? He's in New Jersey.
Probably Delaware.
I don't know if Kurt's right about that or if he's just kidding me.
Yeah, if I go any farther north than I am, well, I'm probably less than a mile from Lake Superior from my house. If I go directly across the lake, I'm in Canada for me.
Yeah, tonight on the show, Nathan showed that that glass walkway that's over the Grand Canyon. It's 3,800 foot straight down. You look down through the glass. There's I've got a link on Facebook. In China, there's a long pedestrian bridge. It's over some canyon, man, and it's a glass bottom. And you ought to see the video of everybody's scared to walk across it. They're laying down on their knees, or they're hanging over the side, or the women are actually grabbing the guys by the arm and dragging them across it.
Yeah, I was in Wisconsin a couple weeks ago at a place called a tourist place called House in the Rock, and they've got this infinity thing they call it, comes off that rock house, and it goes out about 150 feet, and it's just nothing below it, and hanging over the ledge.
They have a section of, well, I don't know if it's glass, but you can see down it when you're up the CN Tower in Toronto. It's like a glass section of floor that's about probably an 8x8 square section, and you can look right down. I can't remember how high it is, but
now where is that?
I was making people nervous in Toronto on the CN Tower.
Yeah,
and I remember when I was up there, I was jumping up and down on it, and people were getting real nervous.
Well, you're crazy. Hey, there's one where is it, in Chicago or
Chicago?
In Chicago, man, you got that.
You can walk out in this little glass box and look
yeah,
down. It's
got like a glass box, I don't know, 40, 50, 100, maybe 100 floors up, man. You walk out on, my son walked out on it, and it actually had a crack in the floor when he was up here. That don't sound good.
What he said, the lanes are graded, the outer lanes. No, it's the inner lanes that are graded. The outer lanes are, I see Doug posted on chat room there. Yeah, I've had a lot of people won't drive over the grates. I like driving over the grates because I'm driving, I can look out the window, I can look way down in the water below.
I haven't been over to the Mackinac in a number of years, but I thought they had like walls up the side there. So I'm wondering how that car could have flipped over to the side.
Well, everybody's kind of wondering. They do have some more little higher posts. Nothing's what you would call walls. They're up about 2 feet high, round rails, the length of it there.
That would bother me.
If you're gonna drive over, you gotta do it.
That'd bother me. 2 foot high rails. That don't sound safe. Yeah. I mean, I think OSHA would probably want it a little higher.
That's only, I think, 250 feet to the water.
Speaking of OSHA, I don't know why OSHA hasn't taken a walk through the Hare Arena.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, they've got the fire marshal, and the fire marshal, they open the door for Hamvention, so they're there. They inspect everything, so I guess they think it's safe enough that, you know, to have a meeting in. So, Mike, how long you been going down to Dayton? Mike 2.
Mike 2?
Yeah.
I've been going down to Dayton. I hadn't been down for a while, Tom. Last year was my first year, and probably 25 years. I'm thinking the first time I went there, and I remember meeting Bob Heil for the first time, and all I can say is we were both a lot younger, because I was a teenager, and Bob, I'm thinking he's probably maybe in his 40s at the time. But yeah, I'm going to say mid-80s, I think. Early mid-80s was when I first started going to Dayton, and was there for probably a few times in a row, and then there was a long hiatus there for, like I said, about 25 years since I've been there, up until last year.
Yeah, well, that was back when it was in April. Man,
you're right. You pronounce it the Mackinac. Everyone wants to say Mackinac Bridge, but it's the Mackinac, even though it's NAC it ends in.
Well, they must have spelled it wrong then.
Yeah, they spelled it wrong. Everybody pronounces it right.
Maybe
Mackinac.
Maybe that's just I don't know how to say this politely. Maybe that's just the accent you guys have, you know. So you guys got accents up there.
I have no accent.
Where we don't have accents down here.
I also work part-time in a state welcome center located right here in town a couple days a week. And I've had people come in, especially from the south. And I work there a couple days a week. I've been talking to them. And if I can help you look at literature or anything, and they go, I'll stop talking. They'll look at me and say, don't stop talking. I said, what do you mean? He says, oh, we're enjoying listening to your accent.
Yeah.
I don't have any accent. You do. I don't. Other than that, I go, hey, we got no accent up here. That's Finlanders that all live around this part of the country. They have no accent at all. No, just Eno and Toivo live around there. You betcha.
Oh, man. Well, it's it's almost 10 o'clock. I'm thinking it's about time for a peanut butter sandwich, maybe a Coke. I don't know if the convention is still going. Maybe going to turn. I don't see any excitement going.
Oh, they've had enough excitement with the Ivana's plagiarism thing there, and then Trump came out yesterday with that Queen song, "We Are the Champions," and they're all upset he's using their song.
Hey, Mike. Ivana was 2 wives ago.
Okay, see, I can't keep track.
I don't even know his new wife's name.
I didn't even get Melania or something like that.
Oh, now they got a star from the soap opera, so Young and the Restless, some star out there.
Yeah, they're real. Well, look, hey, they better just knock it off with Melania or whatever her name is, or Donald may just go over and beat them up. But that's okay, man. I mean, hey, that's the way we take care of things down here.
Yeah.
Well,
you
Tom,
guys up there
been in the news here today.
Yeah. The only reason I watched it is this, because it doesn't matter. Everybody in this convention right now is basically Republicans. When the speaker says something, they all cheer. Next week, the Democrats will all be Democrats in there. When Hillary says something, they'll all cheer. It's a lot of blah 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 on each side. But I just got to sit back and wait until he opens his mouth to say something. His campaign managers must grit their teeth when they write his speech, if he'll stay on it.
Well, I think there's a lot of people that like the way he talks. You know, I mean, I know you guys up there in the north, you'd probably send the mafia out. Now he won't do that, but you know, he will say that, you know, we'll settle it with fisticuffs. You know. All right, guys, I think I'm gonna get off here. Get me a snack, maybe watch a little TV. Think about cutting the grass tomorrow. I'll skip the week, and it's pretty tall, and it's going to be 100.
I'm not allowed to cut the grass today. And they told me when they hacked me this morning that I had to spend several days with no activity and not do too much, no grass cutting on it. And I says, I think I can try doing that.
Yeah, you need to do that. I went and had my 6-month checkup today, and he didn't tell me I couldn't cut the grass. So, you know, I'd already skipped 2 or 3 weeks, and
I had mine 2 weeks ago. He said I'm good for another 6 months to live, then go back in.
Yeah. Kurt says no mafia in New Jersey. All right, well, he says Jersey. See, that's another thing about Kurt up here in Jersey, man. They're short and to the point, man. You know, they leave the new off. It's just Jersey.
Yeah.
Now I've got an aunt that lives up in Jersey. I think near Trenton or Brick Township. Somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
And,
somebody thinks I got a Yooper accent. Yeah.
Well, guys, what we say down here in the South is I'm fixing to go get me a Coke and a peanut butter sandwich. So we fix everything. I'm fixing to go. You know,
yeah.
All right, Tom.
I'm fixing to turn this stuff off.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go get a couple ibuprofen. This skin cancer they hacked off my forehead is, you know, another ibuprofen, and that'll be time to get it set in so I can go to bed and sleep.
Okay.
Well, take care of yourself, Mike, and 7-3, Tom.
Hey, you guys can stay on hangout. Stay on hangout as long as you want to. It stays up. I'm just going to shut the webcast off and go get me a snack. But hang up stays on as long as somebody's in here wanting to talk.
Yeah, I think I'm going to call it. It's been a long day for me. It's been stressful.
All right.
Yeah, we're an hour behind you, Tom.
Oh, are you? Okay. Well,
it's 11 o'clock here.
Mike 2 is an hour behind, so it's 9 o'clock there. Let's see. Yeah.
Sorry, an hour ahead of you.
An hour ahead. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Now, you know, hey, the interesting thing, Nathan, tonight out in Arizona, they don't honor daylight savings time or anything. So normally, where that part of the country is 1 hour difference, they're 2 hours difference right now.
Yeah, but we're the right time because we're on Eastern. We're first, so you guys are just behind. That's all.
Yeah.
Saskatchewan's like that too. They don't recognize or they don't observe daylight savings time either, and I think that's kind of ironic considering I think it was come up for they came up with daylight savings time. I think originally for the farmers, did they not?
It had something to do with that. And
you know, time's a funny thing though. You know, and before I get off, I'll say one thing. You know, I got my friend Jolty on in the chat room from India, but you know, they've got some time zones down there that are 15-minute time zones. When it's 8 o'clock here, it's 8:15. You know, there. I mean, you know, I think they've even got some that are odd in number. If I'm not mistaken, I think I found one like 17-minute difference or something.
That's crazy.
I haven't heard that.
But there is one. Look at the time. Just look at the time maps. Look around down that way, and you'll see some 15-minute time zones.
Well, I chat with a guy down in New Zealand, and he was 16 hours ahead of me. And I always told Frank one time, I said, geez, you're 16 hours ahead of me. You're already in tomorrow afternoon. I'm here in the evening. I said, hey, can you tell me what the lottery numbers were here?
Yeah. All right, Doug, KD8HLV says he's going to an AM ham get-together. Next week he'll snap some pictures for our show. Okay, Doug. I guess that's an AM group get-together.
Yeah, they got them.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Night, guys.
All right. Good night, guys. We'll see you.
Brings.
All right.
73.
7-3.